Welcome everyone to Cook with Emmy and Daddy. Today we are making homemade blueberry muffins. So, happy cooking and welcome.
Welcome everyone to another episode of Cook with Emmy and Daddy. We're going to be making blueberry muffins today. Emmy here is a huge fan of the bagged blueberry muffins. They make a great snack, they're portable. You love those?
Yep, I sure do. But I also love the homemade ones because they're even better because you put all the love inside of them.
That's right. It's something that we can make together, no preservatives, and they freeze really well. So you can make a big batch and you can just bring them out and have them as a stored product for kids as well. Nothing wrong with the bagged ones by any stretch of the imagination, but having these homemade ones that you can make with your family, I think it's light years better. So, with all that, let's get started. So for making blueberry muffins, the first thing we have to do is get our dry ingredients together. And this is where I love incorporating kids because we're doing measurement, but we're doing measurements in two different ways. We're going to weigh some ingredients, and then we're going to use measuring spoons and cups on other ingredients. So first off, just for the sake of the speed of the video, I've weighed out the all-purpose flour and the whole wheat flour already. And Emmy here loves the feel of flour, right? Yeah.
Usually it has to feel this. It feels like
it is so soft. That's why we wash hands too ahead of time, folks. Now, dust off your hands, and we're going to weigh the last thing that goes in here, and that is we're going to weigh our fine ground cornmeal. By putting in these three different types of flour that go into this mixture, it really brings a great flavor to the final muffin, and it also provides awesome texture too. This is fine ground cornmeal, and we're going to put in 3 ounces of that. So Emmy here knows how to pour the cornmeal in there and get the weight. So you have 1 ounce, and we just need 3 ounces. That's a little too much. No worries. We just know to take some out until we get the right measurement. This is the kind of stuff that teaches kids how to do measuring in different ways, and it's a great way to get them involved and feel like the muffins really are theirs.
So don't worry about the mess here.
Now that we have it all measured out, and she's even doing a great job cleaning up the kitchen for me, we can add the cornmeal to the other dry ingredients. There we go. And now that we have the weighing done, we can also work on measuring with measuring cups and measuring spoons, which is another great skill for kids to have. So first things first, I need you to measure out 3/4 of a cup of sugar for me.
Okay.
We can work together. I can hold the cup while she pours. The question I get a lot from my students is, what kind of sugar am I using? I use organic sugar because it's still lightly brown, and that separates it from your salt, so you don't get the two confused.
Ready?
Ready.
Pour.
Pour. Awesome. Next up, we need some baking powder. And this time we're going to use some measuring spoons. So I need 2 of these. She can just level it off really nicely. That's good. Pop that in there. 1.
Make sure you get it to the tippy top, and if there's an edge, make sure you flatten out the whole way so it's smooth.
Perfect. I've taught her well. And also I need 1 of these half ones.
Then make it in half.
You're doing great. Half teaspoon. You gotta get that nice and level.
Get this.
And drop it in. Perfect. Awesome job. I love your perfectionism. Okay. With all of that mixed together, now we can whisk all of this together. You could use a sifter if you wanted to, but a whisk is great. I will hold the bowl. Make sure you don't splash. Nice, good, steady stirring without splashing.
Maybe you just not knock anything out because this is not water. I'm not working with water right now.
That's right. There you go. Just incorporate it nicely, break up the larger lumps of the flour, and get all 3 of those colorful flours mixed together. Once you see everything mixed together like that, that looks good. Now that we have our dry ingredients put together, it's time for the wet ingredients. For this, I have measured, I've measured out ahead of time a half cup of buttermilk and a half cup of fresh squeezed orange juice. You got that one?
Yeah.
Let's put those both in here.
Okay, everyone, it's time to crack the egg.
Well done.
Nailed it again.
Nailed it again. Perfect. Okay, we've mixed everything in. We have our wet ingredients. We have our dry ingredients. It's now time to add the wet to the dry. Are you ready? I'll bang this up, and you pour. Right in the middle there. Oh, careful. There we go.
And the magic moment.
The magic moment. And I will scrape out for you. This is a lot easier for a grown-up to do with two big hands. And we'll throw in 12 ounces of blueberries. That's usually like 2 containers that you get at the grocery store.
Of course, because it's
You want to fold all that together for me? Okay. Now the trick at this stage is when you're mixing the wet and dry ingredients together, mix gently. You'll notice I switched her to a spatula instead of using the whisk, so we don't overbeat that flour. We just mix it until everything is nice and moist and mixed together. Then all we have to do is put them in the muffin tins and we're ready to bake.
okay, I think we are ready. Because look, I just looked all the way like.
Yep. So yeah, come on in. We'll take a look. We got a nice mix that is well hydrated.
Yeah.
It's even, but we haven't overdone it. We've gotten it just to the point where the flour disappears into the mix. Oh, there's a little flour there. We'll just stir that last little bit in. There we go. Okay, so now that we're ready to start portioning the muffins into the tins, it's really as simple as this. I've got some mini muffin tins that I've sprayed with cooking spray. Or if you prefer to have just the little muffin papers, which look really cute, you can absolutely do those too, whichever you prefer. Even though, as you can see, these are non-stick pans, I still put a little cooking spray in there. It just makes the whole removal thing at the end of the day easier. I've got this tiny little portion scoop, which fits the mini muffin tins perfectly, and as you can see, it's a lot of fun. Kids love playing with a little ice cream scoop. It really makes for a fun time. So just have them portion out the muffins into the muffin tins, and once you've filled it all up, we'll get baking right after that.
So we have all 44. We're running short just by 1 row. So, but anyways, we have a lot of muffins. So it's time to sprinkle on the cinnamon sugar. Yum. Okay, so make sure you just sprinkle on each row. I already done 2 rows.
And you can see, you don't have to be super fancy with it. You don't have to be even especially careful. You just have to get a little cinnamon sugar on each one. It's a nice crust on the top, and cinnamon is another fantastic flavor with blueberries.
Just like if you watch the bread episode, you don't have to be fancy at all, right?
That's right, we're cooking with kids. It just has to be something the kid feels like they're taking ownership of the dish as well. They feel like they've contributed. They feel like they're part of it. And believe me, if you want food to disappear into your child, this is a great way to go about it.
And this is a great show for your kids if their career wants to be a cook.
Do you want to be a chef when you grow up? No, it's okay. Not all of us do.
Mine would be a fascinating.
There we go. Okay, all the sugar is sprinkled on there. We're ready to go. It's time for the oven, and of course, this is the grown-up's job to do. Going to take these. I got a 375-degree oven. Slide them in. We're going to bake these guys off about 16 minutes total with a rotation halfway through. Okay, muffins are done cooking. It's time to take them out of the oven.
Ooh, those look good.
Again, definitely something for grown-ups to be doing. Lovely, beautiful muffins.
Okay, before we do the taste test, we are going to wait to cool these off. These are burning hot.
Absolutely, especially the blueberries themselves.
Because if I put one of these in here, I will not do a good job because they are mega hot.
That's right. So we're gonna let them cool, and when we
cool.
Yeah, that's right. We're gonna let them cool, and when they're done.
Tick tock, tick tock, tick tock, tick tock, tick tock. Okay, the muffins are ready and they are cooled off. Yum.
That's right. I let them cool a little bit in the muffin tin, and then I scooped them out and put them on a cooling rack to finish off. It's time for the taste test, please. She's too excited. Just go ahead and let me know what you think. Another thumbs up. We did it again. Fantastic. These muffins are absolutely some of my favorites. I had one or two while I was demolding them. Parents, that's a great trick. When you're taking them out and they break, those are yours. But the rest of these are fantastic muffins your kids are gonna love, wonderfully healthy, and the best part is, like I said, once they're fully cooled, they freeze. So you can make a huge batch and put them out a little bit at a time so you have muffins for days. Okay, that about does it. Is there anything else you'd like to say?
Thank you, everyone. Thanks for watching, and remember to subscribe. Bye. Happy cooking.
Bye, everyone. Beauty shot.
Okay. Did you record that?
Oh my God, we got that. We got that recorded.
Oh my God.
Oh my God.
You are totally gonna edit that.
Maybe.
It's gonna be so embarrassing to see that. Okay. Ready?